We're going to break it down into 3 parts today. The first thing you want to do is just get the fretting hand shapes down. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with this one here. So if you're a member of theartofguitar.com, you're used to my terminology when I start talking like this. I usually don't do this for YouTube videos, but we're going to act like this is a Art of Guitar video for today, okay? Free lesson. So we're going to call this a second inversion minor triad right there. So make sure you can do this shape first, and then we're going to quickly move on. We're going to reach up with our pinky, and we're going to make this shape. So this comes from the first form. Looks like a C chord, but this is going to be a root position triad on E, starting here. So now we have to be able to go from here to here pretty swiftly, okay? If there's a little bit of a problem there, I want you to work on that transition. The next move is actually kind of simple in theory, but to actually do it can seem kind of tough because this shape isn't very common. A lot of people don't use the first forms or the third forms whenever they're doing chords. They're used to this type of shape. So going like this from this is a little bit awkward. Okay, so we're going to go from here, root position triad, to another root position triad, this time starting on B. Okay, so let's do that. See what I mean? Theoretically, that should be very simple, but it's kind of tricky. Now, if you watch Frusciante play this live, he actually does this shape again. He moves it back to the set of strings he was on and moves it up, except he uses these 3 fingers. And it's really hard to say why until you actually play the full riff and see that it helps it flow back to the beginning pretty well. But just trust me on this, trust him on this one. Let's go ahead now. We're going to do the root position here, starting on the 9th fret, root position triad. So fret-wise, we have 9, 8, 6. Okay, then we have to come back home. So just take your first finger that's already on the correct string, slide it back, and then come back home. So it creates this nice little circular pattern when you practice this first level of it. Okay, so let's go ahead and start from the beginning here. So we have the second inversion triad, root position triad. Move it over to the fat strings now. Okay, now move to the other set of strings that we were just on, except we're going to use our ring finger, middle finger, and pointer finger on the 9th fret, 8th fret, 6th fret. Slide that first finger back, and we're back home. So that's a good thing just to practice for a while. The right hand isn't immune to the difficulty of this. There's a lot of picking you have to do. So we're going to pick it strictly alternate, and we're going to go down, up, and we're just going to arpeggiate each one of these triads. So this is the second phase. We've made it all the way to phase 2. Starting over, we're going to start picking now. So we're going to go down, up for each one. Switch shapes, pick the same way. Next. And last. And come back home. Keep it circling. A lot of people ask, should I do this? And switch right away. No, you don't have to. The reason why is because there's still a little lick that we have to throw in between each one, and if we got to leave some space for it. So I don't want you to get used to it just being always flowing with this particular setup. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to add one more thing and then we can flow. Okay, 2 phases down. We're on to the last one already. This is so crazy. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing we started with, but we're going to add a little flicker at the end. I'm just going to call it that. And there's one really important thing you need to do, because a big problem with this riff is that it's easy to fall off the beat because it's so fast. It's hard to really dig in and grab onto anything rhythm-wise. So I want you guys to start accenting this next part, accenting it really strong. So we just get done going like this. What I want you to do now is do the flicker, which is just a quick hammer-on pull-off, like that. But I want you to pick the first note of that pretty strong. Even if it seems like it's too much, it's okay. Then we reach down, and we complete the part of the riff. So that's a nice little thing to practice, just going. It's a nice pentatonic feel. Then we're going to be moving it over after we do 2 of those, just up to the fatter strings. So the first 2 times are going to be this. Then we move it over. Then we move it up and over. And back. Okay, that might seem like it's all of phase 3, but it's not. The phase 3 is actually going to be putting it together with what you previously did. So here's how we do that. All right. See how hard I hit that accent? If there's anything you take from this lesson today, I want you to really understand the power of accenting when you're practicing. It really drives the signal to your brain, and it's kind of like the robot technique that we teach on the site, where you're doing a lot of really strong movements and your brain remembers it better that way. Kind of sets it in for life. All right, let's add this little flicker part to each one, and let's see what happens at a slow speed. Little gap is okay. Different hand position, finger position. Even though you're doing this, I don't want you to go, okay? I want you to use the ring finger again. Notice you end off here, drag it back, and you're back home. Little tip right here. When you go to the next part right here, I want you to slide into it. Because the song goes like 1,000,000 miles an hour when it's full speed, and you're going to want to have a little traction getting up to the next part. You don't want to just jump to it. Chances are you might overshoot it or undershoot it. So it's nice to slide up to it. Gives you a little bit of feeling of traction once again. All right, a little bit faster. Okay, see how that slide really helps that part sound cohesive to the rest of it? Okay, those are the 3 phases. I know you guys can handle those. The trick is now is just to play phase 3 as many times as possible, and then you speed up. All right, let's go medium speed. Watch how the technique stays the same, as well as my accenting. It still might sound a little too strong, but I'm really just trying to drive the point home.